Hi friends! Alright, here's the name of my turntable, amplifier, and my speakers. A lot of y'all have asked, so there's the answer to that. It's all from the 80s and used, so I can't link it below, but I am going to walk you through why I have what I have, how I got it, how much I paid, and other questions I get about my record collection. I bought the turntable first. I don't know if it's the best place to start, but that's where I started. You might want to get the amplifier or the speakers first. It depends what you want to do with everything. But I started with the turntable. So I went to Facebook Marketplace, I typed in record player, I searched through it, I found one that I thought I would like, I copied and pasted the title of it into Google, and I read some reviews, went on some forums, and I ended up with this one. I paid $130 for it. All the stuff that I bought is used. You might be able to get it cheaper than I did. Some people on forums said they got it at garage sales for like 15 bucks. But I paid what I thought it was worth. So if someone was listing it for a certain amount of money and I didn't feel comfortable, I didn't buy it. And some people were listing things really cheap and I would Google it and they'd be just really cheap things. So just kind of weigh how much you want to spend. But I found this one. It was for sale by a guy named Modi. I went to his house, he demoed it for me, and he actually was playing this turntable with the amplifier, and I fell in love with this amplifier. As soon as I saw the face move in, it's actually called, the nickname for this amplifier is a suck face, but once I saw it just like move in, I was just in love. And so I knew before I left his house that I was gonna buy this amplifier. So he told me it was for sale. I didn't buy it when I was there. 2 weeks went by and I was like, I gotta have it. So I did some research and I found one online that was $100 cheaper than what he was asking for it. So I asked him to go lower, and I ended up getting it for $270, but he didn't have change, so he took my $10, so it was $280 in total. And then the speakers, that one was a little tough. It took me about a month after buying the turntable and the amplifier to find the speakers online. For me, speakers are the most important thing because an amplifier will make the record player sound good, but if you don't have good speakers, the sound that you're sending to the speakers isn't gonna sound good. So I did my research, I went really hard, I found a pair that I love. They were a little more expensive than I wanted to pay, but I bought them for $180. They're three-way speakers and they sit on the floor, so I love them. Overall, I spent about $600, $700, including the speaker cables, and that's a hefty investment. I mean, I know people have spent more on that. You could buy tube amps that are like $4,000, but this was what I wanted to spend. It was right in my ballpark, and for having an all-in-one for 10 years and moving up to this, it felt like a really good step. It felt like something that I was investing money into that would last me a long time. I have a really hard time answering this question because as soon as I answer it, it's gonna be wrong. Currently I have 356 albums, but as soon as I post this video, as soon as I hit publish, I'm gonna have more albums because I go to the store like 2 to 5 times a month. It can be a problem. It's under control for the most part, but I spend money on this stuff because I enjoy it. Like, I have a lot of money invested in this setup, a lot of money invested in the records, but money doesn't really mean anything to me. My happiness means something to me, and this brings me a lot of happiness. On average, I would say I spend $4 to $8 per album. I buy almost all my records used. The most I'll pay for a used album is like 15 bucks. Occasionally I'll buy new albums, but I didn't when I first started, and now those albums, that was what, 11 years ago, so now those albums are online, and they never reissued them, they never reprinted them, so they're all like for sale for 400 to 600 bucks, and I'm not willing to spend that much money on one album. So now, if I see an album by an artist that I really like, that just came out, I'll grab it just in case they never reissue it. But for the most part, I pay $15 on the top end, $4 on the low end, just for used records, and I'll spend no more than 25 bucks on a new album. Google. I literally just copied and pasted the name of a turntable into Google, read some reviews, found something I liked, and then I was like, okay, what does this do? How does this connect to the amplifier? Let's work on that thing next. And then once I got the amplifier that worked with the turntable, I was like, okay, I need to find specific speakers that worked with the wattages and the ohms from the speakers and the amplifier that they matched. So it's really just about finding specific things that you enjoy and seeing if they can coexist. That's why I like buying used stuff, because when you buy used, you talk to a person who knows a lot about one specific thing, the thing that you're buying. Whereas if you go to a store, you talk to a salesperson who knows a lot of things, but it's just a little about a lot of different things. And they don't have the information that you're really looking for. They can just give you surface level information, which is fine. It's a different practice, but for me, it just makes a lot more sense to talk to someone that has specific interaction with the thing that I buy. Yeah, there's a bunch. Specifically, the Black Keys and a couple of hip-hop artists made an album called Black Rock. That was many years ago, and as soon as I heard the album, I fell in love with it. I've never seen it, and I know as soon as I find it at a store, I'm just gonna be flipping through, and it's gonna be like Christmas morning. I can turn it over and see it. It's just gonna be amazing. Lies for the Liars by The Used. Meteora by Linkin Park, that was the first album I ever owned on CD and the first album I ever listened to. Maggot Brain, Lust for Life, Iggy Pop, Because the Internet, Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor, Franz Ferdinand's self-titled album, A/B, The Glorious Dead, anything by Queen, anything by the White Stripes. Yeah, I actually have a Patreon. It has a list of every album that I own. I catalog the entire collection. Every time that I go to a store, as soon as I get home, I add it to the list, so it's always up to date. If you want to check that out, there is a link below. Just subscribe and you get access to the list forever. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you guys have questions that I didn't answer in this video, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will definitely make a part 2. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna do more record content on YouTube, just because I can't. TikTok is not as strict with me using music I don't have the copyrights to. YouTube seems to be very strict with that, and I don't want to mess with that. So I'll try to make more videos about my collection. I might run through like my favorites of the collection. That might be a video. So if you have any suggestions for that too, feel free. I'll link all my social medias below. I do a lot of record content on TikTok. I post some stuff on Instagram. I'm starting a series when COVID's over where I take different people record shopping and I interview them. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff on here that is record oriented, in addition to the travel content I've been doing and just the little short films that I make. So if you're interested, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.